So did you take your time to answer this questionnaire? What do you think? It's pretty bad, huh? This questionnaire is just horrible. Horrible, horrible. Because discussion leaders already explained, a lot of rules that we should do or we shouldn't do in terms of developing a questionnaire. So I hope you really get a sense what's wrong with this questionnaire. Does my computer make weird noise? I don't know. But what are the major problems of this questionnaire? Like everything is wrong, huh? How would you revise this questionnaire? So this is gonna be probably your homework. You don't need to, submit this homework to me, but use this questionnaire to study for your midterm. Because this questionnaire is really bad. Let's talk about it a little bit. What is your annual income? That was the first question. Sensitive questions, you don't want to ask really sensitive questions or uncomfortable question or awkward question in the beginning of the questionnaire, People do not want to answer it. So awkward questions, sensitive questions, those questions should go later, not in the beginning. In the beginning, things should be just easier so people can answer it better, not really offensive. And also, it gives open-ended question, right? It uses open-ended question. And income is pretty sensitive matter, so people will not want to give out the actual numbers. So even though it's a pretty good level of measurement, you guys know what level of measurement the number one question uses? It's a ratio question. Ratio level. But people will not feel comfortable to answer it. So in this case, you can lower the levels of measurement into just ordinal levels and group them together so people will feel more comfortable to answer. So let's say less than $30,000 per year and more than $30,000 to $60,000 per year, something like that. Just group them together and give them certain just different options of multiple choices. So that kind of ordinal level will make people feel more comfortable. So sensitive questions, don't use ratio level. You will not get the answers. And just lower it to ordinal level or interval level. But in this case, probably ordinal level. And sensitive question will not go first. Let's see number 2. Generally speaking, do you recognize that something should be done to resolve domestic violence problems in Harrisonburg? What is this? Is this yes or no question? So when you use this type of open-ended questions, you will not get any rich answers at all. For your questionnaire, especially for a survey, please not to use open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are much better for focus groups or in-depth interviews or maybe, phone surveys. I don't know. So this type of open-ended questions are much better for qualitative research to try to get to understand people's opinions better. But survey is a quantitative research method. We are going to use statistical analysis program. We need numbers. We don't need a lot of sentences. So number 2 question is not really appropriate for a survey questionnaire. So you may need to, my recommendation will be change this question into some sort of Likert scale so you can suggest several statements, whatever the researcher wanted to test, and ask whether respondents are agreeing with it or not. Number 3, please rank the major problems that Ogden is facing today from the following list. So it's a ranking measurement, but is this exhaustive? say, please rank the major problems that Harrisonburg is facing today. Or no, high living costs, not really. Terrorist, I don't know. Domestic violence, maybe. So because the researcher didn't give you enough choices, when you rank, maybe domestic violence will come the most, the most problematic issue in Harrisonburg, or in this case in Ogden. But what if domestic violence is not a huge issue in that area, in Harrisonburg? Because the researcher is not giving up exhaustive options, very biased options, people will answer it, but it will produce really biased result. Number 4, have you stopped beating your boyfriend or girlfriend? Yes or no? First of all, any multiple choices that provide yes or no is not very developed answers. Please do not use yes or no questions if not necessary. Sometimes screening questions, you may need to use yes or no questions. Most of the times, do not use it. You can have much better measurement options. In this case, this one already assumed that your boyfriend or girlfriend, right? So either way, whatever your answer is, still you are the abuser in a sense. And what if you only beating your boyfriend, not a girlfriend? I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. Number 4, assume something. So it doesn't matter whether you answer yes or no, still you will give out really wrong information out. Number 5, what are the reasons that you're lying again? The wording problem, it assumes that you're lying about number 1 question, right? And number 6, in your free time, would you rather read a book or just watch television? Because of the biased word, you don't want to answer it honestly. It says, rather read a book or just watch television. Don't you agree that communication major students should read more books than they currently read? So don't you agree? It leads a certain, it leads people's answers towards a certain direction. And also this one is yes or no question. Number 8, how strongly do you agree with the following sentence? I would like to vote for or against a candidate, blah, blah, blah. First of all, this one doesn't use several multiple items, so it doesn't have really good reliability. And also, it said, I would like to vote for or against. So when somebody says strongly disagree, number 1, what does that mean? Is that strongly disagree about voting for or voting against? So this has 2 different meanings in one sentence. So it's impossible for people to answer correctly. Number 9, in the past 30 days, how many hours of television have you viewed with your family? You do not want to ask extremely demanding questions. In this case, people need to think about it and then calculate and need to answer. So this is really demanding, requires a lot of thinking. People will not give you the right answer. So it will be better if you ask, average day, how many hours of TV you are watching with your family, and certain time, certain hours per week. I don't know. So just make sure you provide easier answer for respondents. Other than that, still it has a lot of problems. There's no demographic information questions. It's a mess. So please read the textbooks and please go over what discussion leaders mentioned. Then when you see your group's questionnaire or other questionnaires, you can tell what's wrong with the questionnaire, and then you can see how to revise the questionnaire. So yeah, awesome, we're done, right? So we talked about understanding different types of scales,